Appearing in the Little Nightmares comics, the Mirror Man is the master of delusions. He has caused the residents and the visitors of the Nowhere to believe they have a deformed appearance. However, some residents... yeah, that is pretty self-explanatory. In today's video, we'll be going over the characters who may have had an encounter with the Mirror Man during their time in the Nowhere. But first, let's talk about the Mirror Man's appearance within the Little Nightmares comics. He first appeared in front of a group of visitors whose reflections were changed when they gazed into the many mirrors around them. One became strong, one became tall, and one had a copy made of them. They were mesmerized by what they saw and started to think of the things they could do if those reflections became a reality. Soon after that thought, they were changed by their own imagination. When one thought that this day was great, their words were stopped when something grabbed them and dragged them into the mirror. The others tried to escape, but they couldn't, as their new physical form wouldn't let them leave. They thought that the mirrors could change them back, but it only led to another capture, which made a visitor unable to speak as a part of them was lost to the Mirror Man. When a plan was set in action, a chase ensued, which led to the Mirror Man revealing himself. The mirror he was in was then pushed over and smashed to stop him from getting out. The visitors never came back for their friend, who was changed by the Mirror Man, because why have courage when fear makes more sense? Mirrors are seen as portals for him to cross over, so they are destroyed before he can make his way through. Now let's talk about the characters. From the Hunter's Attic, the Patient's Synopsis, the Lady's Residence, and the Man in the Purple Suit's vanity mirrors, it seems that their encounter with the Mirror Man has left them feeling broken and angry. These characters either cover their face, change their body's appearance completely, or... yeah, that. Let's start off with the Hunter's Attic. Upon entry, 6 and Mono find prosthetics from the hospital, bird feeders, and tins of produce. But venturing further shows the protagonist more horror than before. This can be seen due to the bodies hanging from the ceiling, and this creepy old lady sitting dormant in a chair. On the left, there is a broken mirror that this lady is staring at. This could lead to a theory about the old lady's life force being taken from her by the Mirror Man. But it is more so around the fact that the Mirror Man uses abilities to distort the Hunter's face, which caused him to equip this mask to hide his facial appearance from the Mirror Man. Okay, now let's move on from the Hunter. And onto these victims of self-destruction known only as the Patients. As they clatter the halls of the hospital, these poor souls reflect on what their life once was before they completely changed themselves forever. Now I have a theory on this army of residents, but it includes the condition of body dysmorphia. So if you have this condition and want to avoid talk of it, please move to this timestamp in the video. The theory suggests that the desire to change their appearance stems from body dysmorphia. This condition has been amplified by the Nowhere from the waking world's perspective, and has made it become very different. Their heads and limbs were either bandaged or replaced with prosthetics, which changed their appearance completely. This gave them no identity of who they were. Whilst the light freezes them on the spot, some can't even move in the dark. I said some because of this. This links to the Mirror Man due to the various symptoms of body dysmorphia, which include constantly checking yourself out in the mirror or avoiding mirrors. These symptoms link to the Patient's Synopsis, which says, the patients cannot live with themselves. They look into the mirror and hate what stares back. Seeing nothing but the flaws and ugliness of nature, they beg the doctor to fix them, to work his magic, and make them whole again. The mirrors within the Nowhere may have been cursed by the Mirror Man, making a gaze upon the residents' actual appearance impossible, and all it shows is a false version of themselves. This could have led to multiple outbreaks amongst the residents. For example, what if the mirrors showed the guests to be malnourished, and the response to this was... I believe that the Mirror Man has ruined multiple lives over this curse and has thrown the Nowhere into panic that the residents' appearance is not what it seems to be. Moving away from the Pale City and Wilderness, we gaze our eyes upon the Moor, a location within the Nowhere that is the only place that makes sense due to its order and stability, unlike the previous places. This location is governed by the Lady, a tall resident who equips a geisha mask and a robe which resembles traditional geisha attire. Many of these robes can be found in her residence, but what can also be found are broken mirrors. The state of these mirrors portrayed the Lady to be insecure about her appearance due to the Mirror Man's curse. The runaway kid, who is a different protagonist in the Secrets of the Moor DLC, just so happens to stumble upon the lady gazing at her appearance in the mirror. After she notices him, she screams and breaks the mirror. This made the runaway kid a target for the lady, and when she finally caught up to him, the punishment happened. Moving away from the moor and leading up to the stormy sky, we gaze our eyes upon the Carnivale, a vast ship known for its exciting amusements and delicious candy. The candy is provided by the supervisor, who unlike the residents of the Carnivale, resides on the land in her factory. Reaching up to higher parts of the Carnivale, a poster can be found showcasing the main residents of this location. These residents are named Kin and Minikin. Their presence can also be found within the Sounds of Nightmares podcast.
That's when I noticed something beside me, in the seat that had been empty a moment ago.
The man in the purple suit.
I heard him before I saw him. Two breaths. Why could I hear him breathing? Why could I feel them breathing? My body was shaking, but his attention was on Rusty. Noticing that I wasn't cheering, the man turned. He had no eyes, but I felt him look at me. How can someone with no eyes look at you? Then, I saw a smaller man in his lap. A dummy, only he wasn't made of wood or plastic and had hair atop a lumpy face where a wider mouth had been carved out. Unlike the man, the puppet had eyes, staring at the spotlight above.
Their presence isn't found amongst the herd, but within the depths of the Carnivale. The Kin are two disturbing residents who are a symbol of ventriloquism, but the puppet has a mind of its own and can move freely without the need of being attached to a hand. After the herd have stuffed themselves with candy and have been battered as a piñata, their bodies are used to supply Minikin with a meal, kinda like the cycle of the guests within the moor. If not herd insides, other sources of food can be found within the Carnivale for Minikin to consume. The only downside is that it happens to be a gnome who was a victim of this consumption. The scene is dark indeed, but the scenery shows something related to the Mirror Man. These vanity mirrors are broken, which suggests that the Kin had an encounter with the Mirror Man and therefore broke the mirrors in response to this hateful misinformation about the Kin's appearance. There is a possibility that the Kin went through an extreme way of not being able to view his appearance and therefore removed his eyeballs. This would explain Minikin, who seems to provide guidance for Kin. Many lives have been ruined by the Mirror Man's curse, and many residents are distraught by what they see when they look into a mirror. They avoid them at all costs and never truly gaze upon their real appearance. That's going to be all for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.